media, all it takes nowadays to spark up an online fight is to merely have an opinion. One opinion will cause many to spiral into a pit hole of anger where no one dialogues, only insults the person who has the unpopular or even the popular opinion regarding the latest trends in comic books, movies, or pulp culture. It makes sense given the circumstance. After all, acting tough behind the protective wall of the black mirror we all own and use on a daily basis makes it easy for anyone to jump right into a tirade of insults and threats. Again, just for having an opinion that they may disagree with. I decided to go against that notion. I've decided to start a video series where we discuss the hot topic issues within the comic book industry and pulp culture and provide you with another perspective. One of logic, reason, with just plain old dialogue between two people who have different opinions. My co-host and I will discuss the pop culture topics at hand in a fun, engaging, and respectable manner. So, without further ado, let's talk about it.
It was an ordinary night during an ordinary jog when Matt Guerra stepped into his destiny. Using his Jeet Kune Do, Matt teaches would-be violators that the cost of crime is too high for them to afford. But little does Matt know, his act of bravery has run afoul of Los Valientes, Orange County's most notorious street gang. The head of Los Valientes, the mysterious dreamer, decides to make an example out of Matt. And amidst a brutal game of tit for tat, where anyone could get caught in the crossfire, Matt Guerra must bring an end to Los Valientes' wave of crime before his loved ones pay the ultimate price for his heroism. Matt Guerra is the Ghetto Dragon.
Oh, you're muted.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. We've been on a short hiatus. Things we had to be done. I have my campaign, all this stuff. But we're back. We're back. And we're going to talk about something very serious, and that's AI art. But before we do that, I'm Julius Freeman, your host. And with me today is...
Hi, everybody. I am Kyle.
Kyle... Today, Ray Ramos from 656, Happy Harry Hard on himself, suggested something to me on Twitter, X, and suggested that you are AI. Is that true? Are you AI? Did I use Unreal Engine and put in a prompt in this Unreal Engine and create you from nothingness?
Of course not. No, I am not an AI. No.
Welcome, everyone. Ben Soto's here with us. Let's talk about it. Is right there correct? Is Kyle AI? We will talk about that. Thank you for being here with us, sir. And for those who are watching from the wayside, not interacting in the chat, please interact in the chat. Don't be shy. Share your thoughts. Share your words. We want to hear from you. But I hope everyone out there has been doing good. I hope everyone's been having a good week. It's been busy on my end. Exactly. Wink, wink. I had to type in wink, Kyle. Wink. Kyle has been. How's your week been, man?
It's been good.
Up, Jim?
Yeah, we had a short break. I went to Vegas, got some cool comic books, got some new stuff I wanted to show you, brag about. First thing I got was this Rocketeer #1 from 1984.
Oh,
Um,
okay, cool, dude. Cool. Hold on, let me blow you up. Nice, dude.
by
This year now.
obviously. And this was, I guess, part of a series that was across multiple things. As it Eclipse Comics? So
Okay.
yeah,
Clips for that's a name from the past there that's long gone, but provided some pretty good stuff actually. Clips Comics for a while there did produce some high quality stuff. Miracle Man's one of them.
oh
Zot
yeah,
from Scott McCloud was another one they printed and published. And another project that I liked, I think his name was oh gosh, Timothy Truman. I want to say his name was. He did a comic book there. I can't remember. It's about a Native American and his two kids, and I can't remember the name of it. If you guys know what I'm talking about in the chat, please let me know. Um, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but go on, go on. What else did you pick up?
uh, I got a really weird and interesting one, and I picked it up purely just because of how funny it is. Flaming Carrot Comics.
Ah, nice, nice.
I have no idea what this is, but when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's just perfect. That's exactly what I want. This is like what comics should be, just wacky fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude, totally.
yeah,
Show that again. Yeah, the Flaming Carrot Comics. A little brief history behind this character. It was first published, I
I got a
think, in,
second
in
one too.
Canada, I believe. Small press. See, Benjamin knows. He knows.
Hmm.
And then it moved over to Dark Horse Comics for a while there, and then it went to Image. And I don't know
Yeah,
where it's gone since then.
I don't know, but it's this is published under Renegade. At least that's what it says. And then, yeah, the tagline's the world's oddest superhero, which I definitely agree with.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then I finally got, and this kind of ties into what's got just recently released uh, um, uh, on like Disney Plus and stuff, which is I
Hmm.
finally got all four of the X-Men animated, and not
Would
X-Men,
you
but the
look at
X-Men
that? Look at
Jim
that.
Lee covers.
Look at that beauty. Woo! Blast from the past.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
So
You got them all.
I got
Nice.
them all. The one I was waiting
Woo.
on was the Magneto one, because the one that at the shop that I went to had it scratched up and all dinged up. It wasn't really a good copy, and so he finally got one that was really good. But yeah, those ones are the main ones that I got. That was like pretty cool that I wanted to show off and brag about.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to brag about because Jim Lee is the guy who drew those covers and he drew the interior art, and it was really one of the highest grossing comic books of all time. It's I don't know the exact number of copies they sold, but it did sell quite a lot, and
Yeah.
it pretty much essentially made Jim Lee into a millionaire artist. So
Was
and
he like a that well known before he
oh
did
yeah,
this?
yeah, he had already pretty much proven to be a top level talent at Marvel Comics at the time. He had a run with an Uncanny X-Men with Jim Claremont, and then he split off and did his own thing with the X-Men, where he took the lead and Chris Claremont took a back seat of that series.
Yeah.
But Jim Lee drew those with the hand and pencil and the paper. But today's topic, Kyle, is about something that's actually been in the front minds of a lot of people, a lot of artists specifically, and that is AI art. Let's
A
just jump
art.
right in. Let's just jump right into this damn pool.
All right. Sounds good.
But before we get really,
Okay, we're
oh
not jumping in.
no, we are jumping in. We are jumping in. But before I give you my thoughts, 8 million copies. Oh, 8 million copies were there. You
8
go.
million copies.
8 million, Kyle. 8 million copies. Can you imagine? A sellout today is like what 5,000, 10,000. This was 8 million copies back then when comics were $1.50 or $2. So it's not it
Yeah,
ain't
this
too bad,
was
but
$1.50.
$1.50. So there you go. 8 million copies at $1.50. So you do the math. You do
A
the
lot
math.
of money.
A lot of money. But let's go right back to the point of not to the
Okay,
point, but
jumping
the
back
topic
into it
at hand.
again.
Yeah. AIR. I want to get your perspective on it since you're the youngin there here and you're right in the
Youngin.
I guess middle of all this this thing called AI art. What do you think on it? What's your take on it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it going to hurt the industry? Is it going to benefit the industry? What are your thoughts as to what AI art can do or be?
Now, specifically, just art or like AI in general, like with the.
Let's focus on the art side first, and then you could speak on the generalizations of AI art or AI in general.
Hmm. Okay, well, there's a lot of different things that we'll talk about and different points we can bring up, but overall, generally, my take on it is I'm probably akinning it more towards CGI when it was first
Hmm.
introduced. That like it's gonna be available. It's not like it's gonna like go away. It's just going to change up the way things are. I don't necessarily think that artists are going to be necessarily uh, diminished, I guess you would say, by AI art because you can still kind of tell the difference. But I do think possibly one day it will be kind of hard to distinguish between CG or like it is now, like CG and real. So AI will get to a point where the art will be like actual artists. Um, I see that as a way then maybe to artists to hone in their skills a little bit more, make themselves a little bit more recognizable, identifiable, and not so generic, I guess you would say, so that the AI would pick it up. So, or at least the AI would be harder to copy what you're doing.
Right.
But I don't think it's ever gonna like go away. Now
It's here
how
to
it's going to
stay. Essentially, it's here to
It's
stay.
gonna
Right.
stay now just to the extent of what it's going to be utilized in and how much is going to be utilized. I mean, like it's just, like I said, it's akin to CGI where like yeah, CGI was used sparingly through movies until like it was I think like Toy Story, which was the first fully
Yes.
CGI
Yes.
animated movie. So, and then ever since then, like you look at like
Ready?
Avatar. So, oh, look, the not lame guy is here.
Yeah, Freddie's here with us. Some
Yeah.
person, welcome to the show, and Brian, but Vidas, welcome to the show. He asked, "What if you make AI 3D assets for art?" Now, that's a good question. Would you, as a reader, a consumer of comics, if you go to the comic shop, say next week, and you are checking out the new Arrival wall,
Hmm.
and let's just say, for the sake of argument, this retailer specifically picks up an AI, fully AI produced comic book, would you purchase it?
Just the art or also the story?
Well, I mean, the AI art is essentially that's what you're doing. You're producing the story with the
Well,
prompts.
yeah,
I
I
imagine.
guess, but like I meant like is the writer just gonna be using like is he still gonna have the story but he's just using the AI art or is it like just
Yeah,
fully all
that's
AI?
essentially what it is. The
Yeah,
writer will probably use the AI software to type up the story he wants to tell. Then he does the prompts, right? He writes out the prompts and it generates the images for him, and he puts
right.
it together as a comic book form, and then he letters it himself and so on. So now I'm asking you, would you buy that book if it was on the stands?
That is an interesting question. I guess I would have to see how the art looks. Um, a lot of the
Hmm.
times, though, to be fair, some of these artists that do produce for like Marvel and DC and stuff do look cartoony and like art like look like they already are
Yeah,
AI art
right.
generated. So
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't necessarily tell the difference on some of it. I could probably, like pick it out, But a lot of the artists now that use the digital version of like doing their art and stuff like that.
Oh, right, right.
Not on pen and
Like
paper.
on tablets, like touchscreen tablets and
Right.
stuff. Right.
Yeah. I mean, in those instances and stuff, like, yeah, I would say that it does look not too uh not, I want to say touchable, but like in person like feeling of like this was made by somebody, I guess I would say.
Like you're talking about digital art, people who use the digital art platform with the Wacom pens and the touchscreen, thing that
Right.
shows up on the computer.
Sometimes it
You're
gets a
saying that
little.
that style won't look like it's a pencil or a pen to paper? Is that what I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
like
understand?
I'm saying that it will like um to me in my eyes, it doesn't look uh not real, I guess you would say, but it does feel not fake, I would say, but I'm trying to find the right words. Um
Well, like you mean like too digital? I don't understand. Like I guess
it's
I'm trying.
like I guess too cartoony. It doesn't feel authentic. That's the word, I guess you would say.
You
Like
don't think it's authentic? You don't think that's the same thing?
depending on how good the artist is, I guess you would say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, some person says smooth. Is that what you mean, smooth?
Yeah, that's it. It's too smooth, I guess you would say. Too like what our coworker was saying when we were showing him the Bloodrick versus
Right.
the other.
Yes.
That's what
What
I'm
did we
trying to get at.
what did he compare it to?
Um
What other book did we show him? It was Blood Rick, and then
it was something current. That
oh,
was
wasn't it uh oh gosh, I can't remember now. Benjamin Soto says, despite what some people say, 3D assets are pretty common in the mainstream these days. Some use them as a guide, and others don't try to hide it, so it looks soulless. Ooh, that's a good word, soulless.
yeah, that's another word that I was trying to think of.
Some person says have to teach digital artists to use different brushes and textures. See, that's what I'm,
Okay.
smooth. Yes, you're right. But if they do use digital brushes and textures on the Photoshop or whatever program, Clip Art Studio, I think is another one that a lot of people use
Mhm.
these days. Then they can still come out pretty good. It can still look like someone pulled out a Bristol paper and a pencil and started drawing, and then started inking it with the traditional pen.
Yeah. So I guess
But
from
going
that
back to the
perspective, those digital artists were, I guess, when that was coming out, did people say the same thing about traditional hand drawn stuff that was going to be the
I,
norm?
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
when Photoshop became a thing and that it went into the market and artists were able to purchase the software program and download it to their desktop computers and use it to draw, digitally completely. I'm pretty sure the traditional artists, like, oh, that's not real art, damn it, because they're not using
Yeah.
paper and pencil.
Right.
But it's technology, right? You can't stop an oncoming tidal wave. It's coming,
Right.
man. It's coming for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's
That's
gonna
what I'm
hit you.
saying. Yeah, it's like once the CGI was introduced, it's everywhere. It's going to be in
Exactly.
everything.
And there's another point that Ben here says digital coloring took over the industry. Exactly. Back then it was again traditional paint brushes and you actually literally painted the page, with the paint brushes in, back in the day in the comic book studios. But they wouldn't be in the original artwork. It would be a copy of the artwork, and they would paint it over the copy of the artwork. So that
I was
way,
about to say, it's like, so what
I know
happens if
it.
you want to recolor it? It's like,
I
you're
know.
screwed.
You're screwed. Yeah, essentially. Let's see. Many digital artists can do the natural look. It seems 50-50, some person says. Freddie says AI is like steroids. You can use them, but sometimes someone still has to do the work, but it will make it easier.
Mm,
Good point. Good point, Freddie. Jim Cox says composition is a giant part of art. 3D assets still need to be put into the overall composition properly. There will always be a demand for humans with a good eye for that. Good point, Jim. Yeah,
mhm.
I agree. But the
What
question, I
is
guess,
your
the
thought?
moral question, the moral dilemma, right? You mentioned about how technology, when it comes around, the old types or the traditionalists, I guess, are totally against it. They don't want anything to do with it. But the new generation that's coming in going, this is a great tool. It's very helpful. It streamlines things. It works faster. And they used it. But see, I guess the difference that I've observed, and again, I got no moral qualms in this because I'm a proponent of like the advancement of technology is like that tidal wave I mentioned earlier. It's gonna come. You can't
Right.
stop it. It's heading here. It's already here. It's done. It's crashed. It's crashed on us now. It's done. Um. So
But now,
my
like,
thing, my thing is this. Like, so the digital artist still had to pick up a Wacom pen, even though it's not lead, right? It's still a pen, and even though they're not using the paper, they're still using their hands and their eye coordination to draw an object on a digital screen. Now,
yeah,
granted, those zeros and ones that transfer the information that the tip of the pen is touching at the touch screen and moving it to your computer screen, that's a little bit of AI. That's a software working the zeros and ones that were programmed to do its thing. So I guess the major, I guess I don't want to say moral dilemma, but the the hate that AI is getting from a lot of artists today is that it takes. So AI art is reliant on what's already posted online on the internet.
right. It
And
only
so
pulls that stuff.
when the writers go in there and they type in, I want, draw, I don't know, city landscape of New York City being attacked by aliens, right? UFOs in the style of Pixar. So now what the AI is doing is going to the internet in an instant, in a flash, and pulling it and then creating an image that's like the Pixar style in,
Mm.
I would say, what, like 10 seconds, I think,
I guess I haven't
10 or
really played
5
around
seconds or
with it.
whatever.
You're the one who's played around with it.
Yeah, I think it's about 5-10 seconds. It depends on what you get. Depends on what program you use.
Mm.
And I have to say, man, like I was curious when it first came on. I messed around with it, and it's pretty freaking cool, to be honest with you, because it's a
Now,
helpful tool to create a concept
yeah,
without
that's what I was about
having
to
to
say.
hire an artist to do it, you know,
That's what I was
and
about
it's
to say. Like,
quick.
is it going to allow more people to get into creative comic creating because now they have this tool that allows them to put their ideas visually instead of just trying to communicate it to somebody else. It makes it a little, I guess, one step easier for them to just go and type in what they want to say and have it actually produce it than actually trying to like figure out how they want to lay things out or whatever.
You think is that's what's going to replace the?
No, I said, is it going to add more people to the meet, like to doing that? Like more, like you said, writers that want to show what they want in their stories. Are more of them going to like go and use AI art so that
Oh
they can
yeah,
produce their
yeah,
stuff?
yeah. Of course, of course. They're already doing it. It's already happening. You have online stores now. People have been starting up online stores where they're selling the AI art. So yeah, I think there's been an influx of writers who are eager to get their stuff out there, and now they have a tool where they could put it into an image and show it into a concept, an actual concept, as opposed to writing a summary or a plot summary or explaining what the concept is. Now they have a tool where they could just copy and paste that, put it in a generator, and then boom, you got your concept right there, ready to go.
Right.
And I think I've read that some already did a complete comic book using purely that engine, the AI engine.
Oh, really?
And that's very interesting, yeah, because it's gonna keep evolving. Like I said, the tidal wave's already crashed. It's here. The Pandora's box has been opened. You can't close it up again. It's done. So I think that's the main reason why the Hollywood actors and the writers went on strike was because they saw what was coming. Not only them, but the corporations, the Hollywood corporations that are there. They see it coming, and the actors saw it. They know what was going on, so they jumped the gun and protested, and now they cut a new deal so they could get some of that action, some of that money action from that.
Well, it's the
And
same
Disney
with
already used it. They already used AI for the intro for the Secret Invasion,
right.
which
They were, and when people call them out on it, they're all like, "Oh well, it's we just wanted to because that's the
no, the
aesthetic."
actual that was corporate speak for like, yeah, yeah. So what? We're gonna do
Well,
what we're
yeah, and
gonna do.
it's the same with what happened with the voice actors as well too, where they're
Right.
signing on all the voice actors to be AI generated voices.
Yes. Freddie says, speaking of AI, have you guys considered buying bots to boost your channel? Hey, that'd be a good tool to use. And thank you for that, Freddie. I appreciate your kind words.
Yeah.
Um, some
But like
person says,
what
I think someone already made an AI that can find out what art has taken to use in an AI image. Oh, look at that. See? I think someone already made an AI that can find out what art was taken to use in an AI image. So there you go. Again, a tool, right?
I guess
Now,
it's gonna get into how that tool is used.
exactly. How it's used and utilized and how people monetize it too,
Yeah.
because that's a big thing. And people are going to make movies in a few years. I don't have any doubt that in the coming years we're going to see shorts that are done in AI, and then at some point it's going to get to the point where you could do a full length movie
Yeah.
using pure AI art. That's going to be wild, dude. That's going to be freaking wild. Some
Well,
person says that hopefully an AI lawyer to go after these people. Can you imagine? Freddie says, I used AI to draw my superhero, but it always just gave me Batman with different suits. I guess it was Tom McFarlane. So there you go. Now it's taken from Tom McFarlane. And
yeah,
this
that
brings up
also
another
brings up.
question too. Since AI is taking from what's online, posted online over the years, how does someone like a Tom McFarlane or a Rob Liefeld or someone with a distinct art style like a Alex Ross, for instance, another instance, how do you copyright that? Like, is that copyrighted? Is that something that you own as a copyright? Your style, your specific art style, and if so, how do you pay for residuals and royalties when you decide to use that art style for your own stuff? You know?
I mean, yeah, what's to say that somebody can't just create, say input in AI. I want Batman to look like, you know, Alex Ross versus and Jim Lee.
And you'll probably get something interesting from that.
Yeah.
But how? Yeah,
Now,
I guess that's the issue too with a lot of artists is that they're not going to get their royalties. But then again, it's like, well, you don't get your royalties from your art style. You get royalties from what you've published. That's where you get your royalties from.
right.
And the extra income you also get is from commissions. You go to cons, you have your commissions laid out on your table, and bystanders walk by and they purchase your commissions or your original art pages. But your royalties and residuals come from after you publish a book, and you get the money, the pieces of money you get when it's out in the market. So it's
I guess it just kind
interesting.
of well, I've seen some videos of people at conventions that are selling AI art, pack up and told to leave and getting kicked out.
Oh,
So
speaking of, wait, hold that thought. Speaking of Todd Father, one of the Spawnery winners used Midjourney. Is that true?
what's
Is
that
that
mean?
true, guys? Is that a real story? Because I remember in January, Tom McFarlane had this contest where
Right.
if you draw the best spawn, right, you win, and I guess you get I don't know what the prize was. I don't know if there was a cash prize, or You got to be on the cover of an
I think
issue. I'm not
that
entirely
gets to
sure.
be the cover.
It gets to be the cover.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. I need to confirm that. I need to look at that up. But
Is
whoa,
Midjourney
that is wild. That that's true.
is Midjourney a version of AI art
Yeah. Midjourney is one of the most
software?
popular one of the
Okay.
popular AI generating image software companies.
Oh, that's gonna be if that is the winner, that's gonna be a very controversial thing.
Yeah, totally. Some person I think I need to go ask AI to write up an opinion on this topic for me. Julius, bring up an AI engine and ask these questions. That's crazy. Didn't Todd reject it? I don't know. I don't know. I knew about the contest, and I didn't hear about the winner until just now when Ben just mentioned it. So that's I gotta look this up. Dude. That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's a good point. Freddie mentions how you distinguish AI art from just somebody drawing it. You know?
Well, it's pretty simple. Oh, I no. Actually, it's not
No,
simple
it's
anymore.
not.
No, it's not anymore. You're right. It's not. It's
No.
not that simple anymore.
There's some good AI
There,
art out there.
there, there really
It's
is
like
some good AI art. Oh, there you go.
it,
Some person answered your question
with
with
another
another
AI.
AI. A tool against a tool.
It's,
Damn, that's
let
wild, dude. If that's
let
true.
them
Hold on. I gotta
fight.
find this out for sure.
But then what? You're gonna have to just go at the convention with your phone with a screen with the AR to go across all Artist Alley and say, "Oh, this AI art. This is AI art. No, this one's real. This one, it's like what you're gonna just do that at conventions
You know, it might
or
have to be that way because speculators obviously don't want to resell AI art. They want to resell original commission pieces. That's how they make their money. So I think so. Maybe I wouldn't doubt it. And you mentioned about people being kicked out of a con. Now, tell us that story. What happened there?
as far as I could tell, I've heard something along the lines of it was at a convention. I saw it online where at the convention, all the other artists saw, or maybe the guy told them that this was AI art, and the other artists that are around there complained to the um, workers there and had them like kicked out or something like that because I guess it's not real art. I guess you would say. So
Wow.
I mean, it depends. There's a comic book convention coming up, at the end of the month, and I want to see if I can find any like artists that have AI art, or maybe ask them and see what their opinion is,
Right.
and
Yeah,
how
that'd be
maybe
interesting to find out.
how it's affected them. Maybe they use it to like enhance their work, or maybe they realize that like it's taken away. Like I think Freddie mentioned in the comments earlier, it's and also you mentioned too, writers using AI art to have their ideas shown instead of actually just getting an artist to uh convince to do their idea.
Huh. Well, let's take a closer look at this. I found the article on Bleeding Cool.
Okay.
I know Bleeding Cool is not the most popular, but hey, this is what I can find. So let's see if I can zoom in here. There we go. So one of the winners, Luis Ruiz, yeah, nice. Using the name Robot9000 on Instagram, is a regular AI prompt writer and regularly posts pictures created using AI, including Gunslinger Spawn, to which he credits Midjourney as well as art programs Procreate, Midjourney, Photoshop, and Maya. Despite this, the images that were created for the Spawn cover contest, each of which was described as "Look Ma, no AI versions," and states, "I'm a fanboy and I've always been one. This is my entry and I hope you all dig it. Luis Ruiz, aka Robot 9000." So I guess my 5 years of drawing class did serve me well, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I know, Freddie. Me too. Luis Ruiz. But look at that. That's not bad, dude. But it's AI
Yeah, that's
art.
pretty good.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
AI art. Now he I'm assuming he fixed it up on in Photoshop. I'm not entirely sure exactly if he did, but I mean, wow. This is
Now, see, if I saw that at like that one right there, the
this
middle
one right
one,
here. Uh-huh.
if I saw that at a convention, I don't know whether or not I see that that is AI
AI or
generated.
not. Right, yeah. It looks legit. Look at that.
That one looks a little too perfect ish. Like the face of the
We're gonna have to be fucking like Blade Runner, dude. We have to like train
yeah.
ourselves to tell what's replicants or what's original, you know?
We gotta start asking him all the questions. It's
Yeah,
like
I want to just
how much emotion you
interrogate you with
feel.
just question after question after question. Which brushes did you use? What program did you use? What paper did you use? Where did you buy it? If you were offered a job, would you take it this way or would you take it that way?
You are fake.
Let's see. Some person says humans might evolve their ability to notice finer details to detect AI art because of this. Yeah, probably.
Okay,
Man,
but we're looking at it from the perspective of people in comics who
yes,
are who know artists, who know like how things are done and stuff like that. Casual people that are just walking by, are they
right,
going to know? Are they going to see this?
right. Are they going to care?
Are they
That's
going to
another question.
care?
Are they going to care that this is AI art? Because they might not. They may say, this is cool and I'm going to buy it. How much do you want for this?
Yeah.
This will look great on my wall. This will look great on my office. This will look great in my workspace, whatever the case may be. Because the
And then
casual buyer, the casual reader may not even care about AI art. It's the ones
yeah,
who
and
are
then
the loudest currently are the artists, like comic book artists and writers too. There's a lot of writers who are anti AI, but again, it's a great tool. You can't discount a great tool, and um, you can't avoid technological progress. You can't. It's out there, and so now the question is gonna. I guess now the next step. I'm gonna assume based on history because the only thing I can really compare this to that comes close to what happened back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s was the Napster music deal here.
mm,
Back in the I don't know what year in the 90s it happened, but Lars Ulrich, the drummer for Metallica, they had a press conference talking about the dangers of at the time was known as file sharing, which is you download the file into your computer and you share it with your friends. And these Napster was the first of its kind to people can upload their disc, their CDs on their computers, download the songs into their hard drive, and then put it in this software system called Napster, and you could share the music with whoever had access to Napster. And then not
oh
only
really?
that, yeah, not only share it, but download it themselves. And that's
Mm,
what caused this whole debacle back in the day with the music industry and not just Napster, but the idea of downloading music, MP3s as is known now. And of course, the running joke was, oh, these musicians are just greedy. They just want their money. But when you look at the boring part of that argument that Lois Ulrich, was the spokesperson for, um, he was talking also about copyright protections. It's their copyright, it's their song. They didn't give permission to do that. They gave permission to make the disc, sell it to the public, and you keep it. And you couldn't resell it. You couldn't resell it publicly like at a store unless it's a secondhand store or something. But even then, you would still have to pay some kind of royalty or residuals, some kind. I would imagine, and I think that's was the big issue here with, well, at least back then with Napster, and that eventually got resolved, and new laws were passed, and it became illegal to download music unless, I guess, download like a whole bunch of music that you were going to use to resell, in the
yeah.
black market or whatever. So I guess I wouldn't be
Be like the
surprised if
same as like bootleg DVDs.
exactly, it's a copyright infringement or trademark, law, whatever the case. I'm not really privy to that information, but I think maybe in the near future, if it isn't already happening, there might be a court case that may arise that is going to challenge the usage of AI and whether
How
or
do you
not
think
where it
that would
comes from.
how do you think that would come and be? You think it would be one of the main uh staples artists that would complain about it, or do you think it would be
I,
like a suit where it's like somebody pays an artist to have this and then they later find out that it was AI art, but they wanted it traditional way and then they sue them over that?
I think it might be a collective of artists who are going to put their names there and sue the AI generating companies.
Because I
And
think another like interesting thing that I have heard about with AI art and a way to maybe like combat this,
mhm,
especially with like it pulling from like Alex Ross or Tom McFarlane or something like that, is I
right.
think I heard somewhere where Disney made a deal with all the AI programs that
Oh,
they can't use certain phrases, like you can't um say generate it as Pixar, generate it as, you know, traditional Disney style. Like you can't use those keywords in the prompt unless you buy it from Disney.
oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess there might, but I think people have like found ways around it. But I think this was back when people were making all those like crazy posters of like really like crazy things
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Pixar style
yeah, the Pixar
as like
style, yeah.
as movies.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then people were thinking that those were actually going to be the
Yeah, I
movies.
remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the reason why that all stopped, because I think I remember hearing it somewhere where Disney came at those at the AI generators and says you can't have them, like if you type in do it in Pixar, it says not allowed to do that anymore.
Now, that's an interesting thing about that because now that it begs the question, okay, are those people who are generating those images as funny as they were because they're highly
Yeah.
offensive,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
offensive, but still kind of funny in some instances, not all of them. Um, I guess the question now begs, like, were they selling those images? Did they have storefronts for those images, or was it just out in the wild? Because that's where it kind of gets murky and gets a little gray area there when it comes to the law and copyright
Right.
law. You know, so that's interesting that the Disney company reached out to those other companies and made them change the algorithm to make sure they don't use specific words like
Keywords.
Disney, Mickey Mouse, or whatever the case, Pixar.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I wonder if that will be somewhat of a compromise then, if the AI generators and stuff like that, where they start making, you know, either comic books or cover arts or something like
Hmm.
that in the style of Todd McFarlane or
Right.
Alex Ross or something like that, that will be a similar thing where you can't do those phrases.
That I could see that as a possibility of a compromise of them being able to control at least the style of for instance, Disney. I'm sure Disney has a lot of copyright protections based on what they filed with the copyright office when they did produce whatever they produced. So
But then
that's
again, that's
interesting.
just going to be mainly for the big names. All the people that are like smaller names or, you know,
Right. Yeah.
generic styles, stuff like that. Those are going to be more fair game, I guess, in a sense.
Hmm. Some person says people will get tired of AI art like how we get tired of mass manufactured items. This might lead to another arts crafts revolution. Good point.
Hmm.
That's very true. Um, yeah, I'll share my thoughts about that in a little bit, but let's see. Ben says, I think it's getting close to not quite there yet. I've seen a program that is specific to comic art panels, but it's not quite there yet. There's no consistency in characters and action taking place. That's a good point, Ben. But remember, it only took about, if I remember correctly, about what 4 weeks before the fingers, 5 fingers were able to show up at an AI art, prompt.
Right.
It didn't take that long because I mean it's evolving. It evolves, right? The program just keeps evolving with time. I saw a post on X where they did a side by side video comparison of Will Smith eating noodles.
Oh yeah, I was about to mention that. I literally was
Yeah,
just about to mention
yeah,
that.
and so the first one, I mean, it was an
Like,
obvious like AI.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like obvious
yeah, like,
AI, crafted piece, right? And then on the right side, it was what someone generated recently, and it almost looked legit.
yeah,
And I was
it's
thinking,
scary.
dude, 6 more months of this, and we're gonna think that there's a actual video footage of Will Smith eating noodles.
Eating thousands of noodles.
Yeah. That's wild, dude. That's absolutely wild.
I know. I see those every now and again on Instagram where it's like spot the difference between AI and real life. And it's like showing like pictures of like dogs running on in a park or something like that. Or like,
Right.
family blowing out candles on a birthday or something like that. It's like, I mean, you can still tell, but it's like really close.
Dude, it's that's so wild. So, I mean, that instance, do you think there should be regulations to that? Because I mean, here's what I'm
Is
thinking.
there regulations on CGI?
Well, no, because CGI is attached to the movie industry
Yeah,
and
but
commercial industry. So commercials
right,
use them, movie production companies use them, television production companies use those. But AI is open to the public,
right.
and so you can potentially in a year or two, depending on how good the the, the algorithms get and the softwares get, people can be generating news segments,
Huh.
potential, a news footage of an assassination or of a
Yeah.
war.
Oh, isn't that what happened kind of recently with when somebody generated like fire on the Eiffel Tower and people were thinking that it was being burned down and then it blew up and then people actually like
See,
looked into it and they said no, it's fake.
there you
It's
go.
right there.
See, I didn't even know about that, but now that
Yeah,
you mentioned that, there
since
you
you brought
go.
that up, I'm like, yeah, I remember somebody posting a video of the Eiffel Tower and it was like up in flame, like a fire on it, and
And it looked
it blew
legit.
up. It looked real enough. It
They
looked real enough to fool people,
There you
but then
go. There
people
you
actually
go.
like in Paris looked at the Eiffel Tower and like it's not on fire.
And that's the only real, I guess, concern I have personally about AI in general. Now, when it comes to commercial art, I don't care either way. Will I ever personally support that? I'm leaning towards no, because I like actual art. I like when an artist sits down at their table, be it a board with paper and pencil and a pen and brushes, or if it's through Photoshop. I prefer the hand-eye coordination, art
Yeah.
that people can draw, because I've always had an appreciation for that, and it also makes it unique to that artist.
Well, yeah,
Todd,
and that's
they could be Tom McFarlane clones, right? David Finch was one when he first started, but then he found his own style. Now he's David Finch.
mhm.
David Finch, right? That's it. That's his name. Or did I get it
I
wrong?
I'm
I think
just
that's his
agreeing
name.
with you.
I know you're saying yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's only one Alex Ross, right? There's only
Right.
one Dave Gibbons. One. I mean, I could go on and on. Uh, Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld, on and on the list goes. I'm a supporter of that, because that's what makes at least comics interesting and fascinating for me. And so some person says I don't know if there's been any change, but wasn't there a law passed that says AI art is not copyrightable? I don't think that happened yet, but I'm not sure. I can't speak on that. I'm starting to think that Kyle's real and Julius is AI, because how he met what? Kyle just uses the Julius program to edit comics for 656 and write comics. He just wanted the Latino demographic. I don't know what you mean. What you mean? What you mean, Freddie? Oh
That's supposed to be
man.
spilling my secrets.
Yeah, Justin Soto says, ever since I saw deepfakes becoming popular, I decided nothing is real. Dude, that's the one
Oh
thing
yeah,
we're
that's
gonna
another
all
thing
have to
too.
be vigilant on going in the near future is when we see something online, specifically online, we have to question it. We have to. I mean, it's getting
I
to the
mean,
point
don't
where
you
it's like,
already?
huh?
Don't you already?
Oh, of course, yeah, but I'm not everybody.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone is me. So, and a lot of people are still susceptible to being fooled. It's not uncommon. And that's again my main concern about how good AI it has become is that now it's going to get to a point where maybe, dude, it could fool me. It could be so damn good that I could be like, wait, is this real or is this legit? I can't tell anymore. That's when it's going to get really scary. And I'm
Then
not
how
and, I,
will?
and I'm not saying that because I could tell what the difference between AI
Yeah, you're
and
you're
not
just the
AI.
end all be all. You know everything.
Well, back in my day,
Back in my day,
we had distinctions. Now we don't. Now I don't even know what's what.
people respected each other.
Yeah.
Now
But that's my final thought on that is the to the people who are bashing AI, who just won't want nothing to do with it. It we're here. It's here. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you want to stand out, if you want to quote unquote compete with AI art and the people who are going to come out and making AI, like you mentioned, somebody rented a space at a con and had a table with AI prints all over it ready to sell,
right?
but he was stopped. They were stopped because other tenants there, other vendors there complained to the organizers and they kicked them out because the idea of AI art is theft. That's the consensus currently amongst I guess, the mainstream at the moment.
Right.
But the mainstream is only the mainstream for a window of time. Eventually, a new generation will come in and they'll start to slowly
Accept it.
introduce it again. Right. And
Yeah.
then eventually it's going to get to the point where organizers are going to be like, wow, these AI tables are making a bunch of money and
Yeah.
they're bringing people in.
Look at the uh Wonka factory debacle thing that happened.
What happened with that? I don't even know
Have you?
about that.
I think I told you about it. Where it was the um a guy in Europe somewhere
Oh,
used
right,
AI
right. Yes.
art to
Yes, I remember
do
that.
a Willy Wonka experience,
And when
and
they got
then
there,
it was just
it was a horror show.
yeah.
I remember that. So he used AI generated art for the flyer or the video?
For the flyers and for the text as well, describing what it's
Text.
going to be.
Ah, so see, again, it fooled everyone, right? A bunch of people showed up, and
Yeah.
then when they got there, they're like, "What is this?"
They're
And
all like, it's like, and I think nobody even got chocolate. I think they got like
I hope
3 jelly
not.
beans.
I hope not. But
Yeah.
as some person says here, fast food versus restaurant food.
Yeah.
And going back to what I was saying, if you want to stand out, you're going to have to step up your game. That's it. That's all it's going to be, because honestly, there's going to be some people who are going to create some really good AI um material. It's already happening. I mean, we saw just a glimpse of it, right, with this Luis Ruiz individual.
Right.
He won a contest because the pieces were so well done that even Tom McFarlane was like, "Wow, this is amazing," and he picked it as one of the winners. So
It's here.
it's here. You know what? I'm not opposed to AI art after thinking about it, but they shouldn't charge like if they drew it themselves. There you go.
Hmm.
There you go.
But hey, Freddie, people don't play by the rules.
They don't
They
exactly. They don't care, dude. They'll
they
sell
don't
it to you
care.
like they did it. And that's the sad part about it. It's again, it's a tool, right? So it depends on how you use the tool. You could abuse it or you can use it to benefit you.
Yeah.
I even used it today. I used it today to do the thumbnail for the show on X. The hand that was shaking the hands of the robot. I was obvious, right? But
Hey,
AI image, 10 cents. If only, right? Justin Soto says one thing AI art can't replicate yet is metaphor and psychology like a human can. The meaning behind the piece. Beautiful, Justin. Beautifully
Have you
said.
seen modern art though, and modern art museums? How much
Well, yeah,
meaning
but
and stuff is behind those?
I think Justin is mentioning the storytelling element of
Yeah, I
comics
know.
and
I'm just
movies.
saying. But
There's that
I
element there.
mean, look, I mean, that's another thing though. Is a whole different topic of like those modern art, current stuff, versus traditional. I guess not traditional art, but like old art, like from actual painters and stuff like that. It's like night and day, at least in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Yeah. And another thing too, don't upload your stuff anymore, or try not to upload too much of your artwork anymore. Just pick and choose what you want to, I guess upload. But at the same time, you're
How you
gonna have
gonna
to
get
step up your
yourself out
game.
there? But how
Yeah,
you gonna get yourself out there though to get recognized? And
yeah,
some of these artists, they need all the publicity that they can get.
that's true. That's true. But I watched a YouTube video the other day as well that was purely generated as AI. And guess what? I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty good. You know, it was a basic 1 minute video. It wasn't even like a movie. It was just someone who generated a bunch of images to showcase a story they were telling, right, through the voice. And I thought it was
Right.
a nice combination
I've also
of that.
seen we've also talked about how AI art was or AI generated images were used um on abstract things
Right,
like in the Bible. Like it was talking like showing how or like mythological creatures,
right.
how it was uh how AI sees it, or so I guess you'd say.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think in the chat? You guys, I know a few of you have shared your thoughts, but those other people who are listening, what do you guys think? You guys think it's good, bad? Should we do away with it? Is it a good thing? Or is it just something
Have
that
you
it's
used AI art
yeah? Have you guys used AIR yourselves? Because I
or
have.
AI generated anything? AI generated anything? You could either do like the what's the one that's where it's just text?
Oh, Chat GPT.
Chat GPT. Yeah. I
Again,
heard that
great.
that's also a thing that's happening in schools. A lot of
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people writing their paper. So they,
yeah.
tell me about the Renaissance period from this year, and then boom, instant.
Right.
Gives you a whole things to talk about. And again, tools, right? How to utilize them, how to use them, and how to use them to your advantage. And
I
hey,
guess that's an interesting point. It's from a, a teacher a professor that I saw that was like, um, his philosophy was if you're gonna cheat, um, either A, cheat off somebody that's smart, or B, if you're gonna if you're gonna cheat, go ahead and do it, but just know it's not gonna help you in the long run because you're not going to better yourself by doing
there
it.
you
Okay,
go.
yeah,
Right
you're going
there.
to get an A,
Right
but
there.
what are you gonna do? Same with the AI artists. I guess if you want to be an artist, is AI art where you just type in something and then it pops it out? Is that going to improve your artiste,
Good point,
your
Kyle. That's a
portfolio?
very good point. You're right. And I think that's going to be the main separation of between a dedicated artist to someone who's just lazy and just wants to do it quick and fast. And I don't want, no, I shouldn't say lazy. I shouldn't say lazy. Just someone who just wants to do it quick and fast. But yeah, that will provide a somewhat of a stunt, a stunted growth, because the whole point of artistry is to evolve with time, is to slowly change your style and approach it differently as you master your craft of whether you're a writer or an artist, in specifically speaking on comic books at this in that point.
Hmm.
Justin Soto says, I use Copilot when I want to see things I couldn't think of, at least in weapon design. There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
more
That's
like
always a good
inspiration, I guess you would
inspiration.
say.
Yeah. I mean, in the ways, it's like kind of like going to the library and finding old books of guns that used to that were designed back in the 1800s, and you build off that. Oh, this looks like a pretty cool, like,
I mean,
future gun or whatever.
you look at the first Star Wars. They just used old World War II guns and they put a whole bunch of pieces on it,
Yeah,
and they
and it
made a
worked.
whole different type of gun ish.
Yeah,
You know?
but now it's faster. Now it's just type it, boom, and it's there.
Yeah.
As opposed to actually doing the grinding of figuring things out to make it look good. But yeah, uh, guys, don't forget to like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the chat, join the conversation. Some person says, standing on the shoulders of robot giants.
Yeah. The
So
Iron Giant.
yeah, be yourselves, push yourselves. If you want to use AI art, that's great, but just know where you're getting it from. Just know what you're using. And I think for the most part, if you're honest about it, most people would forgive it. I think, but that's just me. That's just me. I can't speak for everyone.
I don't know. You're not an artist though,
I
necessarily.
am
So,
though. I am
well,
an artist.
I guess you are,
Not in
but
that
like,
not in that way. Not in
yeah,
that way.
but I mean, you're not like a actual artist. I'm just kidding, but
No, you're right. I'm
uh,
not. Like the image you see behind me. I mean, I wish I could draw that, but I can't draw that because I don't know how to draw like that.
yeah,
But I do know enough to write it out and describe it, because what you see behind me is something that I wrote in a script, and the artist read it, and based on what I wrote in that panel description, this is what he drew. So in a way, it's like AI art is just talking to a computer to generate the images as opposed to talking to an artist to do it, an actual human
yeah,
being artist. But I prefer the human being artist because then we could go back and forth, right? There's no back and forth with AI. There's what's the word that they use? Gosh, I don't want to say moderate, but it's a word they use. If you push it and it changes the image for you to see if
regenerate.
yeah, I think it's regenerate. Yeah, I think that's the word. So you don't have the luxury of, the luxury of being able to either call that artist on the phone or email them saying, hey, this panel is not really working out. Have you tried a different angle? Have you tried this? Whatever the case may be. And that's the difference. And I think that's what a lot of writers like myself who can't draw have to realize when using AI art or AI generating art as opposed to working with an artist. I will work with an artist until the end of my life because that's just the way I was raised. That's the way I was trained myself to work. And I prefer human to human contact because, like I said, a lot of the times, I would say about 85% of the time, the artist will come back with an idea that was 100 times better than what I originally wrote in the script. And that's always the best. That's one of the best parts of collaboration with an artist as a writer, is being able to throw things in the wall and see what sticks and try things out, and having the artist themselves be excited to now draw the story you've written because they get to have a little bit of fun with it, and that's
Right.
always fun.
And that's what some person just says. When AI art has full potential, we'll know whether or not it has a soul, and that's kind of like what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
exactly,
It's like the
and I don't think it
enthusiasm.
would. It won't have a soul. I don't believe that it will ever will. I don't care what the sci-fi types say. AI is gonna be cyber. What was that, cyber
Cybernet.
Terminator?
Yeah.
Cybernetics? No,
No, Skynet.
Skynet. Yeah, it's gonna be
You
Skynet. It's like,
kept
no, I
you
don't
kept
think
throwing me
so.
off by saying cyber. It's
I know,
like,
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. Collaboration is the word you're looking for. Yes, collaboration is key, and I prefer that. And I think a lot of comic book writers, I will hope so anyway, approach their comic book production, in that manner with that mentality. It's a collaboration, unless it's like one of those, you develop the whole thing yourself and you don't need any more collaboration. You already have it all written out. But for the most part, I think collaboration is probably the best. And speaking of collaboration, indie comics is the last, I
Collaboration.
guess, the last beacon of hope there when it comes to true collaboration, and that's what today's book is about. It's oddly enough, it's about robots and I think AI, a little bit of AI, but not
Somewhat, I guess.
really though, but
No,
kinda
yeah.
futuristic, but still. For this edition of Is it worth the pickup?
Is it worth the pickup indeed?
So, Kyle,
Yes.
usually I introduce it, but I'm going to give you the floor this time. You go ahead and let us know what we're reviewing tonight.
Okay, finally, I get to actually introduce something that's in my topic and my segment. You can go ahead. I'm just kidding. uh, so the topic or the book that we decided to review today, was a book called Mavriks. And I got this book from Julius. He let me borrow it from him, and it's an oversized book as well, and that was very interesting. I just now started to pick up some like magazine size and oversized uh, books, and so I think for this particular um, indie book, it does work really well. Now, I don't know whether or not this was just specifically because this was a crowdfunded book, or it was this is how it's normally going to be. Do you know if whether or not it's going to be that way?
If it's going to be an ongoing
It's going to be
series?
oversized, all of them,
Oh,
or
I don't know. I'm not sure. Aaron Neff here will have to, he'd be able to answer that question.
but oh yeah,
Um,
well, going into that, Aaron Neff was the writer and creator. Garrett Gabby was the artist. Eric Weathers was the letterer, and Jake Thomas the editor. Casey Neff was the assistant editor, and I think that was it. But as I mentioned to every review that I do, it's we appreciate and have tremendous respect for every comic creator because creating comics is not easy unless you have AI art.
yeah,
But uh,
exactly.
but traditionally, it's not very easy. So we always want to give credit where credit's due, even if we don't necessarily care for the book. It's still a tremendous amount of work, and we do appreciate it. Going into this book, however, uh, I actually pretty enjoyed it. It was actually pretty good. So the basic premise of the story of this um, book that I can tell is that it's post-apocalyptic future where mankind is um, scrounging around rubble and stuff like that, except they have giant mechanized robots, and so they're trying to figure out a way to, I guess, they're at war with other countries. I would say that a lot of the story is another thing I'll get into throughout the review. Um, is you don't get a whole lot of backstory about everything. It's you get it in pieces, which is good because I'm not necessarily looking for the entire history in the first issue. So we don't necessarily know how all this became to be. Um, but we do know that that some sort of apocalypse or war or something happened based off of this panel of rubble and stuff like that, and everybody is trying to get to an extraction point where they have valuable information or data or something like that that they need to get back to base, and so they have to get to this area without getting shot at or anything like that for the extraction team to come. And basically the extraction team comes and something bad happens, and that's basically the story. That's pretty much what the whole thing happens. We get introduced to a lot of characters, and we get introduced to some of the stakes that's happening. Um, but overall, I'd say in general terms, the art is really good. I really enjoyed it. Um, the dialogue was good. I'd say that there were times that I could have rewritten things a little differently to make it flow a little
Right.
bit better. But overall, I'd say it was pretty good. Now, what are your do you want me to go through scene by scene, or are we just kind of going
You can go scene by scene if you want. Just try to try to. I don't want to say rush through it, but just give the bullet points of
right?
what the story, how the story unfolds.
Oh, that's I mean, like I was saying, so there's the valuable information. We're learning. I don't know what specifically is on the disk or the thumb drive. Um, and they use a lot of terminology too that's specific to the world. Now, I think.
Sorry, guys. Go ahead and say hi real quick. Okay.
Hello.
All right. Go ahead.
Minor interruption, but
Minor interruption, but it's okay. It's a good
a child.
interruption. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What was I? Oh yeah, so they use a lot of terminology that you don't necessarily understand right away, but they use it pretty regularly throughout the story. So you can you'll eventually understand it at the end. One thing I didn't care for was right here. If you go back up, that the
Mhm.
blue text. It was at the beginning, and most stories, it kind of gives you the I guess the main character's thoughts perspective of like the
Right.
overall story type thing of like, "Oh, I always thought that the war was going to be on going forever or something like that, but in actuality it was in our own backyard." Stuff like that where they kind of give you like to get the mood in. And I think it worked in the beginning. However, it overstayed its welcome a lot because it's like
Hmm.
throughout the entire book, and I don't know whether or not it was like I'm supposed to remember what happened before, like I'm supposed to actually like be following that text, because as soon as I flip a few pages, I like forget what it was. And so then it like
Right.
keeps on going though. And I'm like, "Oh, wait, was I actually supposed to remember what that text was supposed to be about?" So, and it's like sporadic too. So, I didn't
I
necessarily care for that.
I can answer to that. Those blue narration boxes with the text is
Yeah,
quoting Sun Tzu's Art of War.
I see.
So what Neff here did, which it took me a while too to get accustomed to, but once I realized what he was doing, I knew it made sense. It clicked.
Okay.
Um, because it all leads up to the climax of this particular storyline, of this story here,
Right.
and I thought it worked beautifully. It was well um, integrated into what we were reading with the characters and the scenarios and the situation.
Okay. Well, I didn't necessarily see that when I was reading through it first.
Have
Now,
you
if
read Sun Tzu's Art of War?
I have not.
Then you have not
So,
lived, Kyle. Then you haven't lived.
well, I'll
For
get
those for
around
those
to it.
watching for those watching right now, I highly recommend you read Sun Tzu's Art of War because it's a book that really does put things in perspective for you when it comes to war. But Sun Tzu did such a great job writing this book. It really is like I guess you can utilize that strategy not just in war, but also in your business plan, your industry, that kind of deal. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Kyle.
And then here we get the traditional like meeting the characters, and we get little backstories or like I guess
Yeah,
infos on them.
which I like.
Um,
Those are
I
cool.
liked them. I think I don't know. I didn't necessarily care for the whole likes dislikes points. I think you probably could have just kept it to the name and call sign, and maybe just like I don't know, maybe just kept it to that and just like built on uh their characters more instead of just telling us. what they don't and don't like.
Right.
Um, that was just a minor nitpick. But basically, here is these are the characters. These are the extraction team that they're gonna go and get the info that they're save the not the hostage, but the refugees, and get the information that they need from the uh, war torn city.
Right.
I like the character design. I like the character designs. I definitely love the mechs, the way that
Yes.
they look.
Yes.
I
They
think it
look
was
great.
really like in a world where like there's so many mechs and so many giant robots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These it could be so easy to just make them very generic, and these at least have a style and very interesting way of how they, especially later on in the book as well. Um, so I did enjoy it. Another slight nitpick was like they get all suited up in their suits and stuff, and they all have like that shot where they're going out and stuff like that just to get picked back up into like a helicarrier type thing and sent over there. I just thought it was
Oh,
weird. Like, why
right.
didn't we just have that whole scene and stuff in the ship as they were going?
Right.
Like, did we need them getting from the warehouse into the suits, walking 10 feet to get picked up in the plane to go? Or like, can we just go from them suiting up in the plane and then going?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, minor thing. Um, so we get more character, of the refugee people. We get more dialogue. I do like some of the banter that they have between the characters. The one in the yellow brownish helmet at the bottom screen there, he's the Joker type of comedy relief character.
Yeah.
So he's always cracking jokes and stuff like that, which I always tend to like. Uh, Most in reading stuff, I always tend to like the comic relief characters. Um, and so yeah, basically they just go through the whole city. They're setting up points for the extraction. Um, More talking. Uh, they're talking about how their suits are so much better than the refugees ones, and how they're more upgraded and stuff. But
It
they
was a great
have like a
panel.
yeah. I like this scene here because it also gives them a much better sense of scale
Yeah. Yeah.
of how they are compared to normal trucks and humans, and that way when they're fighting you can actually see how big they are. So I did enjoy that. Then you get intercut from like HQ where um one of the teammates was not put on this assignment, even though they wanted to. I don't know if he's like the team leader or he's like one of the leaders or something like that, because it seemed like the woman was the leader.
Yeah.
Um, but he was definitely mad that he wasn't part of this mission. Um, I did like this scene too, where it's like showing how advanced the enemy one is. And the one thing I did like was throughout this whole thing, the kid, stop. So the kid of the, I guess, chieftain type character is going around saying, "Wow, look at that one," and "Wow, look at that one," and stuff like that. And I thought that was just him being like annoying and stuff like that. But here it pays off where he's all like, "But that one has a sword."
Right.
And
Yeah.
as you see all the other characters, none of them have swords. And so that was like really, to me, it was a good hint at what's going to happen next. And so right there,
Yeah.
that was cool. I did like that. So
Yeah.
that's
What's up,
like the
Oli?
so and then but see again with the whole blue text art of war thing, I didn't necessarily think that was necessary.
Well, that's. I thought it was well placed and well
Okay.
and paid off. Again, because I'm familiar with the art of war, so when I recognized the text, so I was like, okay, this is cool. A nice integration of a classic text with the story he's writing here.
Hmm. And then basically the rest of the story is just them fighting this
Yeah.
mech. And then
Yeah.
it's like that's the whole the rest of it is them just
Yeah.
fighting it, which I really enjoyed because it's action and it's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Look who's here.
oh hi.
Ray Ramos himself. Happy Harry Hardon. He
Yes.
thinks you're AI.
No, I am not AI. We went over this already.
So,
um,
yeah. Anything else you wanted to
the one
mention?
also scene that I really did enjoy uh with this was if you keep on scrolling, so he's got the sword, the enemy guy's got the sword, and it breaks,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
he has like canisters that's all around his hip, and he basically puts one of the canisters in the sheath on the mech and basically generates a brand new sword. Like right there, it says bing, and then
Yeah.
pops out a brand new sword. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool usage of like, okay, a functional having a sheath, but also generating more swords. I like that.
I also love the design of this mech. It looks like it's designed like the old samurais
Right.
of
So
of
and
the of
that's
ancient Japan, and I and
and
I
then
love
all
that. I dug that.
it it also, that helps distinguish it between the
Yes.
other ones.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not just another one of those versions of mechs, it's a completely different one. And
And then
then
of
it
course we
ends
get
with
the main dude, which has the cool looking mech suit.
yeah,
And again, it's one of those like, oh, like
and
he
that's
got
the
ended
final
here.
shot.
Because now you're hyped. Now you're stoked to see the showdown between this guy who he built up throughout this story, and now we just seen how dangerous this mech suit.
If this one can take out, 5 or 6 of those mechs,
Hmm.
how much how dangerous can an army of those be, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
overall, I did enjoy it. I do really like um the definitely the action is like a highlight in this book. If you're just like a fan of like mechs and giant robots and stuff like that, you're gonna like this book. Um,
agreed.
and now again, my personal take with the whole Art of War thing, if I'll have to read it through again. And if I read it through again, now knowing the whole Art of War thing, I probably have a greater appreciation. But as the first take, when I read through it, I didn't necessarily care for it. I do think that they probably could have done a little bit more character development between the teammates. We had some, which was good. At least they weren't like static towards each other. But I do think they didn't necessarily feel like a team. They just more felt like forced as a team,
I see. Hmm.
in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, I could kind of agree with that. There was a little. Well, I think the execution could have been a little better with that because I did pick up on that by
yeah,
their
I'm not saying
banter.
it was terrible. I like it
Yeah,
was there, but like I think it could have been better.
right.
Just maybe like a few more scenes of them together. Maybe I don't know, maybe showing like a highlight of them on like a different mission or something like that, or maybe talking about them,
Or
uh,
mentioning like
mentioning a
some
different mission of
right.
like what happened, something along those lines. But yeah,
Okay.
what's your any thoughts from the technical side of it, or like in terms of like the lettering, the panels, the
No, the
uh,
lettering was superb. Eric Weathers, if you don't know Eric Weathers, he does some really superb lettering work for the indie comic scene. And I mean, he did a fantastic job lettering this book, so there's no complaints there on my part. The paneling, the sequentials were on point. Neff wrote a very good, tight script here. I for me, it's all about engagement. If you could hook me and keep me engaged in your story, then you've done your job as a writer and artist as well. The artist did also a fantastic job. My only nitpick with the art is that I felt like the shots that were supposed to showcase the mass, the height, like this is a good shot right here. This
Yeah.
is a good shot because we see these two here and we get to see how big, you know, they are. But let's see if you took a picture of it here. So like for instance, the first page here, I wish. Oh, actually, no. It's a small one. That's why. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense
those are
now.
different ones.
Those are different ones. Okay, never mind
Yeah.
then. Then never mind.
You're complaining about something that's not an issue.
Yeah, no, because I was kind of wishing that we, yeah, never mind. I totally missed that part. These are the smaller refugee mechs. So okay, that never mind.
One thing I
Ignore that.
do also want to mention at the beginning was we didn't really get a sense of the enemy until the very end. I kind of wish we got a little bit more of like the stakes at the beginning of like why they need to get this information out and why it needs to be like, and like
Ah,
is something really oppressing them, or like do they really have to be so sneaking around because this area is very patrolled? Like we maybe see like some ships going around like patrolling it or something like that. Something to give like the not illusion, but like the feel that okay, this is gonna be very,
yeah, they're entering
stealth.
a danger zone, and if one misstep occurs, it's over.
Right. I didn't really
Yeah.
get that at the beginning.
No, you're right. No, this is definitely an extraction, like they mentioned, an extraction mission.
Right.
Um, and yeah, the stakes weren't. Yeah, there's no high stakes other than the information that the chieftain here mentions.
Yeah. Another
But
really small nitpick. Go back up.
oh,
Go back up.
mhm.
A really, really small nitpick was that you see everybody else in this refugee camp all have like semi-futuristic clothes and like really like parkas and like big fur and scarves and stuff like that. And everybody has, and then the main tech guy's just got a normal button-up shirt, stuff like that.
Oh, this guy right here.
Yeah, like, he seems a little too out of place to me.
I
He's just like
see.
he's got just a normal shirt on, and everybody else has got like he's got the zebra print thing,
Right,
zebra,
right. Yeah, he
bear
has a
claw thing.
scarf. He has a scarf with the this, I guess, this jacket, the sweater
Yeah, and that
jacket
guy just
type
looks like
thing.
he's from like the 80s. He's just like a loose,
He's just like the
like he's like
IT,
a
this
disc
typical
jockey
IT
type
guy.
thing. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. That's a little, yeah, you're right. It could have been, he could have given him something more
Just give him
to fit
something,
in.
you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But other than that, I mean, this book worked really well. The story worked well. I looked forward to what's coming after this. So I'm keeping my eye out for this, the next book, the next installment of this story, because Neff wrote a really good book here.
And
And
like I said too, also, if it is oversized,
mhm,
normally it did work to its advantage,
it did
especially because
for sure.
since they're mechs and they're supposed to be big, it
Right.
did work really well that it was an oversized book because you can actually feel, representatively the scale versus a normal comic book.
Yeah, and also the artist did a great job with the body language, the facial expressions, and the story beat. Story beat was in tune. Right, I didn't feel like it dragged in any spot. I didn't feel like anything was rushed on any potential sequentials. Everything moved smoothly until the end of the story. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
really don't have much else to say about it because it's well done, honestly.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I did like that scene with the kid where he's like, "Oh, that one's got a shield. Oh, that one's got a big
Yeah,
gun,
yeah,
and that one's got a sword." And then you're all like, "Wait, none of them have swords." And then it's like, Psh,
yeah.
and then that's when. So I did like
So
that.
Kyle, moment of truth is Mavericks, written by Neff. Hold on, let me go back to the credit page. Aaron Neff, drawn by Garrett Gabby, lettered by Eric Wuthers. Is Mavericks worth to pick up?
I say yes, it is worth the pickup. Definitely go check it out. Go find him on is he which platform is he on? Do we know?
He's on X, so you can find
On
him on
X.
X. He's on Instagram as well. Global Frequency Studios is the name of his comic book studio, and he's working on some. He's working on the sequel, like Cole King here has mentioned. Hector Trunick is working on it, and Aaron Neff shared some images from on X with Hector's, so I think it was a cover, I believe it was, and it's looking pretty phenomenal, man. Like,
Oh
and no,
yeah.
and no disrespect, and this is not to undermine or like undersell Garrett Gabby's work here, because Garrett Gabby did a fantastic job drawing this book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Hector just has this style that just really is a perfect fit for this kind of story.
Okay, cool. I'm
You
looking
know,
forward to it.
yeah. But there you go. There you have it, folks. Mavriks is worth the pickup. So if you have not heard of this book, I highly recommend you follow Global Frequency Studios on X and Instagram, so that way you can stay in touch with the latest updates from Neff. And that way, when he is ready to unleash it into the world, you have the chance to back it and get a copy of the latest installment, because it's going to be a hell of a slobber knocker, I think. So I like using that. So don't make fun of me, Kyle.
I didn't say anything. I laughed.
Don't you dare,
I'm
Kyle.
thinking stuff. I'm
Don't you dare make fun of my wrestling terms. Because I stole
okay.
that from I borrowed that from Jim Ross, good old Jim Ross from WWE.
But in terms of also other creators that are doing indie books, congratulations on Reset Protocol.
Oh, thank you, appreciate that. Yes, we did fund it. Slobber knocker, yeah, slobber knocker. That's what Jim Ross called it. Um, yes, we did. I did fund, and so now it's just a matter of preparing the book and getting out to backers as soon as possible. I'm excited.
All right.
Excited to have you guys
Sounds
in.
good.
And then, of course, Mr. Kyle here will review the book for Is It Worth the Pickup, and I will have no say in it. It's just going to be purely his review. I'm not going to chime in. I'm not going to explain anything unless he has questions. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. I also am going to open up um, the show, this show specifically, to people who backed it, and if they want to come on and give their reviews and their thoughts, then I'll make sure to open up the chat, so that way I'll put the link in the chat, and you come on the show and you can provide your 2 cents and let me know
Yeah.
what you thought of the story.
So you can come on and say you should have used AI art.
Yeah, I know. For this particular sequence, you should have used AI art. It would have worked wonders for you,
Yeah.
for sure. so so that's it, guys. There you have it. So a great discussion about AI art as to whether or not it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. Once again, it I guess it's your preference whether or not you want to support anyone who uses it. It is a good tool, I will say that. It is a great tool specifically for writers, especially if you have an idea for a story or a comic book. It's a great way to come up with the imagery, so that way when you approach an artist, you can say, oh, I need to look like this, and then that'll give the artist hopefully a good idea as to where he or she needs to go to make your story happen the way you want it to happen. So
Right.
that's my
But
take on the
like
AI thing.
everything also too is a double-edged sword too. It could be used nefariously.
Yes, it's just a matter of how you use it, right? Like
Yeah.
a cult, right? A cult can take a Bible and use it to brainwash a whole bunch of people, as opposed to, actually reading it and learning from it and actually living by it and all that stuff the way you're supposed to. But again, that's neither here or there. So, Kyle, is there anything else you want to mention before we say goodnight to everyone?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm Yeah, you're the AI here. I guess I should prompt you to say
That's
something.
the twist, Jim. The twist was that actually, in reality, it was me who
Yeah,
is the AI, and Kyle's the one handling me. He needed to tap into the Latino market, so he generated a Latino writer to, get the money from the Latino market.
exactly. Because hey, I have somebody in the chat that actually did see me in person. Now nobody saw you in person, so
There you go.
Freddie can
There you go.
confirm. Freddie
See, oh
can
damn, it's getting
confirm.
better already. See. ha, ha, ha,
Ha,
ha.
ha.
So, Kyle, the other day, before I always like to end the streams with something interesting that I observed during the week, be it a video, a piece of image, a piece of like art or whatever the case, something that was thought provoking, funny, interesting, whatever. And Kyle here showed me something that I had no idea existed. No, like I didn't even think this was even a thing, but apparently it's a thing in Chile, the country of Chile, where I think what's the actor's name? Uh, Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah.
He's from that country, or his family's from that country. Uh, so I guess in Chile, whenever they show an American film, or I don't know if it's specific to this film or if it's all films all together. Whenever they show a film on their TV sets or on their TV stations, they don't show commercials. They don't break for commercials in the traditional way that Americans are conditioned to. They have they do something that actually I don't know
So
if
much
I
better.
like it, because
It's
I
so
hate
much
commercials.
better.
Let me just be frank. I hate commercials. I can't stand them. That's the reason why I went into the streaming services, because there's absolutely no commercials, which is what I loved. But
Well, now
now
there is.
now they're creeping into my damn streaming
Yeah.
services, and that's pissing me off. But when Kyle showed me this, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like this or not, because I got to give him props for at least doing it this way. um, but they
It puts
integrate
effort into
commercials
it.
into the movie. So I guess in Chile, when they show an American movie, they just intercut the commercial of whatever they're selling into the movie.
As part of the
Um,
scene.
yeah, after the scene. And this was Star Wars. He showed me Star Wars. So this was
You just have to watch
yeah,
it.
you have to watch it. So
You'll understand what we're
I'm gonna play
saying.
this video. I'm gonna play this video for you guys. It's a 2-minute video of the compilation of all this all these commercials integrated into the Star Wars movies. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. So with that said, before we say goodnight, I just want to tell you guys one last thing about this AI thing. Don't let it get you down. It's not the end all be all. We could work around it. Just one thing you have to remember: AI relies on the human imagination to pull, to generate the imagery. Without our imagination and putting it out there, the AI wouldn't work. It wouldn't do anything. And so that's the one thing you have to keep in mind when you're thinking about AI art and how mad it gets you that it exists. It exists. It's here. You can't stop it. But the one thing that's gonna keep, I guess, the arts and commerce, together and persisting even with the technological progress that we have, is that the human imagination, nothing can beat the human imagination. So all
Yep.
we have to do is just dig deeper into that repository that's called your mind and your imagination, and then you pull that out, and you're going to create something unique and original to you, like our prints in our fingers, right? Our thumbprints, which is unique to us. So
At,
just keep
at
that in
least in,
mind whenever
uh,
you find yourself angry about the AI art thing. You're still unique in your own way. So just always remember that.
at least
So with that,
until
huh?
Elon Musk puts the brain chips in everybody's
Yeah,
head.
yeah. That's when you tell Elon Musk, go, to use his words, go fuck yourself. There.
With that being said,
you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Jim, Freddie, Ray, Oli, Cole King. Who else was it? Justin and the Justin Soto and Ben Soto were here with us tonight. Who else was with us? I think that was it.
and everybody else. That
And for
watches
everyone else
later.
who was just watching, Freddie, I don't know if I shouted you out or not, but everyone else who was here with us tonight, thank you again. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna come back next week with more topics in hand. And Brian, thank you, Jim. Brian, but Vitas was also here with us. So yeah, with that said, we'll see you in the next one. You guys have a good one. Oh, actually, we almost forgot, dude.
What?
There is no show next week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You want to tell them before we go why?
WonderCon.
WonderCon.
Yes, I will be there. I'll be working.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Right.
I'll be working one of the booths. So I don't think anybody here is from in California or Southern California. But if you are, I will be there. I will be cosplaying as Two-Face. And yeah, it's going to be fun. But so because of that, I won't be here next week. I don't know whether or not you are going to do the show without me.
I probably will not. I mean, I don't like doing live streams by myself. Like I need a co-host. So
you need somebody prompting you. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I need someone who's going to be able to prompt me so I can speak accordingly.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, dude. You're going to go at WonderCon. That's going to be so much fun for you. I love the WonderCon. It's such a great con to go to. I love the panels. I love the cosplayers that go there. And of course, talking with the artists, local artists and vendors there. It's always a good time to go there. So if you're in Southern California, check it out. It's next weekend. Don't miss out.
All right.
So with that said, say goodnight, Kyle.
All right. Bye, guys.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes. I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
I wish I'd known him.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy. And he was a good friend. Which reminds me, I have something here for you.
Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
You don't believe in the Force, do you?
I've seen a lot of strange stuff, but I've never seen anything to make me believe there's one all-powerful force controlling everything.
Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal.
Yes, run! A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack.
But tell me why I can't.
No, there is no why. Nothing more will I teach you today. Clear your mind of questions.
Cerveza Cristal.
By now you must know your father can never be turned from the dark side. So will it be with you.
It is pointless to resist, my son.